Hello class, this is Algebra topic 8-3. We're going to be talking about how to solve quadratic equations using the calculator. So, first we want to go ahead and review how do we solve this by factoring. Well, you may be able to do this mentally, however we're going to go ahead and review the box method again. First number goes in the first box, last number in the last box. We need a sum and a product. Our sum was 5x, our product would be negative 6x squared. What multiplies to 6, negative 6 and adds to 5? Well, that would be 6 and negative 1. So 6x and negative 1x. The only way to get x squared is to do x and x. X times 6 will give you 6x. X times negative 1 will give you negative 1x. So x plus 6 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. Subtract 6, x equals 6. Add 1, x equals 1. So our answers are negative 6, and negative and positive 1. So, let's go ahead and just remember that. Now, the X intercepts of a graph are where the graph crosses the x-axis. And because the x-axis is a special line, is a special case with the equation y equals 0. And change this word special to horizontal. The x-axis is a horizontal line, is a special case of the equation y equals 0. So we want to find the x-intercepts of our equation. So first, we're just going to put this equation into our calculator. So we come over here. We go to y equals. We get this screen, and we just type the equation into the screen. So x squared plus 5x minus 6. I've got it plotted in the screen. Since we're trying to find the x-intercepts, we're going to go ahead and let y2 equal 0. So we're going to come down here, and in y2 we're going to put 0. So now our screen looks like this. Now when we go to graph, I see this graph, they show this graph. Let me go ahead and fix this just by doing zoom 6. Notice we see the graph. From here we go to second trace, and we want to find intersect, which is down here at number 5. We hit enter, and we get a dialog. It says first curve and second curve. First curve we enter, second curve we enter. Now where it says guess, here we actually have to do something. We have to scroll our mouse over to one of our intersections. Doesn't need to be exact, it just needs to be close. I'm going to do this one first. We hit enter, and it says the intersection is at 1, 0. Which that's following all these instructions. In here it says intersection at 1, 0, so the x-intercept is at 1, 0. We're going to do them again, just as a review. Second trace, go down to intersect, first curve, second curve. For our guess, though, we're going to scroll over close to this other intersection. We hit enter, and it says negative 6, 0. And so it is our other answer. So we have 1, 0 and negative 6, 0. Again, that's mostly following these instructions between 4 and 6. So how do these compare? They are the same. Let's go ahead and put this into practice. We have this equation right here. So we're going to go to y equals, clear out y1 and put this one in here. So x squared minus 8x plus 15. We're going to leave y2 as 0. We go to our graph where we see that it's graphed. To find our x intercepts, we do second, trace, intersect, first curve, second curve. We scroll over to one of our points. We hit enter, so it is 3, 0. Then we do all those steps again. Second, trace, intersect, first curve, second curve. Get close to the intersection, hit guess, 5, 0. So because it's 3, 0 and 5, 0, our solutions are 3 and 5. And our factors would be x minus 3 and x minus 5. And now our vertex, just remembering from previous, we go back to second, trace, which is calculate. We looked at our graph and we're looking at a minimum. We need to be left of the vertex, we hit enter. We need to be right of the vertex, we hit enter. We don't care to guess here, we're just going to hit enter again. And it says 3.9 repeating, which is 4, negative 1. So that's our vertex. Which means our axis of symmetry is at y equals, x equals 4. We pulled that from here. And now we're going to plug in a couple of answers. Go ahead and go back to the main screen. I'm just going to retype this, putting these numbers in. So 1 squared minus 8 times 1 plus 15 gives me 8. And 8 squared minus 8 times 8 plus 15 gives me 15. So now we will go ahead and plot the points that we can. So 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0. 5, 0, 4, 5, 0. 4, negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and draw my axis of symmetry. 1, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't plot 8, 15. But I can go ahead and this is 1, 2, 3 over, 1, 2, 3 over. Plot that right there. I can even go to, instead of going to graph, go to table and pull up some other values here. So for instance, 1 was 8, 2 was 3. And I can just copy that one over. And so now we have a graph. Calculator did most of the work for us. We just have to type the numbers in. Let's go ahead and work on these problems. So let's go ahead and do number 4. Go back to y equals, clear out what was in y1, replace it with what is here. y2 remains 0. We go to graph, second trace, find the intersect, first curve, second curve, guess. That gives me, it says round answers to the nearest tenth, so 0.1. And do it again, second calculate, intersect, first curve, second curve, negative 1.4. Real simple. Let's go ahead and do number 6. Well, this is not equal to 0. It doesn't work unless it's equal to 0, so I add 9x to both sides. I get 6x squared plus 9x plus 7 equals 0. Going to y equals, type this in. 6x squared plus 9x plus 7. y2 is still 0. Go to graph. Well, we look at this, and this has no solution because it is above the line. And if we do second trace, intersect, first curve, second curve, guess, it's going to run for a while and say no sign change, which basically means it came into an error. Let's move on to number 5. We need to again move everything to one side, subtract 2 from both sides. 7x squared plus 2x minus 2 equals 0. Put this in the calculator. 7x squared plus 2x minus 2. y2 is still going to be 0. Graph. This one does intersect, so we go to second calculate. Second calculate, we want to find the intersection. First curve, second curve, get close to my intersection on the left. This gives me negative 0.7. And do it again. First curve, second curve. Scroll to the second intersection. Hit enter. 0.4. And now, for problem number 7, do the same thing. We have to move everything to one side. So subtract 10x and add 5. Gives us 4x squared minus 10x plus 5 equals 0. Go to y equals. Clear this out. 4x squared minus 10x plus 5. Graph. We see that it does cross, so we go to second calculate. The intersection, first curve, second curve. Well, our first intersection right here on the left would be 0.7. And for our second one, we do the same thing. Second trace, intersect, first curve, second curve. Scoot over to the intersection on the right, enter. And this is 1.8. And so the graphing calculator solves it for us really, really quickly. It doesn't give us exact and it doesn't give us fractions. We have to round. So there's some disadvantages to using this over the quadratic formula. But it is much faster. Let's go ahead and look at the last example, number 8. So we want to find all the information about this. Well, we go to y equals. Let's go ahead and put this into our calculator. Negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 7. Okay, we see the graph. We're looking at it. Just double check, make sure. Negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 7. It does match. It looks way down here. Well, we need to find a few things. We need to find the axis of symmetry and the vertex. Well, let's find the vertex. This would be a maximum. So we go to second trace, maximum. We want to be a left bound, then a right bound. Yes. And it says that this is at -1, -5. Go ahead and plot that. And it says 2 other points. Well, we go to our table, second table. We want to find 2 other points across from our axis of symmetry. Which comes from right there. And -1, 5, we have -2, 7. We have 0, 7. Those are both negative. And that's the only points that we can graph looking at our table. So, -2, 5, 6, 7. And we have a really steep graph right here. Now, I know this says up here to do this algebraically. I really don't care if you do it algebraically. Use your calculator to do the solving. Use your calculator to find your vertex, minimum, maximum. Use the vertex to find your axis of symmetry. And use the table to find points. We do not care about finding these algebraically. Well, good luck on your assignment and have a good day.